Alright, hey everybody. Hey, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. So today, so far, we got to do some maintenance today. We had a big rain yesterday, last night, and earlier today, so we're not really able to get in here and do much. We have got to jump across to this side of the creek and start cutting timber, but before we do that, it's real wet in there right now, and we've got to get a road cut in on this side and some fence took down and all that good mess. But today I want to focus on some maintenance items that needed to be done on the skid steer. We had a pin broke in the grapple, and I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. But before we do all that, y'all, I'm going to show you this new grease gun that my wife got me a while back. It's a Milwaukee battery operated grease gun. Really, really good grease gun. I like it a lot. And I'm going to show you how to grease this machine. Now, these battery operated grease guns, they make life so much better. It's got a 2-speed on it. It's got a number 1 and a number 2 speed. It'll pump slow, and I'll just kind of show you. That's the high speed. That's the low speed. Of course, you get more torque on the low speed, so if you need more pushing power to push the grease into a zerk fitting, number 1 speed is going to be what you need. Number 2 speed is for grease fittings that are maintained properly and will take grease really good. And this thing's also got a dial on the side where you can tell it how many pumps of grease that you want to put into it. I've got it set on 10 pumps right now. And the first thing before we get started, I've got the boom locked out. This red thing right here normally stores up here, and it's pinned up with a pin right here. It's normally pinned up out of the way. Right now, I've got this thing down and in the lock position to lock out my boom, so that way the boom doesn't inadvertently fall should we have a hydraulic failure, if that makes any sense. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the boom. This is the boom cylinders right here. So there's a pin right here. Alright, now I've got it set on 10 pumps. In other words, when I mash the trigger, it's going to bub, 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 and it's going to pump 10 pumps into it before I let off of it, okay? And it'll only pump 10 pumps, no matter if you keep holding the trigger or not. Okay, so if you want more than 10 pumps, you just let off the trigger and hit it again. That's what I did there. I put 20 pumps in it. Some of these are going to need 10, some of them are going to need 20. You know, a lot of times you can see the grease coming out from in between them, and that's cool. Now, the lower pin for this one, for this cylinder, Caterpillar has got these remote zerk fittings. And I'm going to take my chainsaw adjusting screwdriver, and I'm going to dig the old grease out from around them, just to get all that old funky junk out of there. And today, y'all, I am filming with my GoPro Hero 13 GoPro camera, and also using this DJI mic. Still kind of getting used to it. We got a little bit of wind today, so if y'all don't care, let me know in the comments what you think about the audio. I've been exploring these microphone options for a long time, and DJI seems to be a pretty popular choice amongst creators these days, as they call themselves. I can't really say I'm a creator because I don't come up with nothing creative. I'm just out here doing a job and letting y'all watch me as I go. I can't really say I'm a creator per se. But I'm going to get all this grease out of these remote zerks. And that's all it is. You can see the hoses right here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because of the zooming on the GoPro and whatnot. But there's some hoses right here that comes off of these zerks, and they go back here to these lower pins to keep you from having to get into these tight spots. One of them, let's see now, I'm trying to remember where they go. One of them goes to the lower pin on this lift cylinder. The other one goes to the inside of the pin on this lifting mechanism here. I believe is right. Let me clean my screwdriver off, put it back in my pocket. Now, anytime you're doing a greasing job on any kind of equipment, it's good to have a rag, because this is a nasty job. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here. I'm going to wipe the dirt off them grease zerks and then stick my tip on it. I'm going to put 30 pumps in each one of them. 30 pumps or to pretty much guarantee me getting grease in where it needs to go. Okay. Now, and I think one of them went in this one right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah, I told you wrong. It's not these hoses right here. There's little bitty hoses. You can see one of them that comes out right here. Sorry about that. One of the little hoses, it comes out and goes in right here and goes into this pin right in here where it lifts up, and then the other one goes down there to the lower arm on the bottom. Let me turn y'all around here where you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a pin right up here in your left cylinder, and then there's a pin right down here. Well, you can't really get to that one down there, so Caterpillar put these remote zerks in, and this is one line for it right here, this 1/4 inch line. There's another 1/4 inch line right there. These right here, I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they're not for the grease. I thought they was, but they're not. So anyway, so we've got this one greased, we've got that one greased, and we've got this one down here greased. Okay, now I'm gonna move y'all around and get you up here just a little bit closer where you can see. We'll just do one side of the machine because it's the same on both sides. All right, you got a pin right here. Now I'm gonna put quite a bit of grease in this one because it holds a lot of grease. This is one of your main pins for the boom. It takes quite a bit of grease to get up in there. And I'm out of grease right now. I'm gonna have to get me another tube of grease. So I'll be right back. Now I don't want to sound elementary or stupid. I don't know how many of us ever changed a tube of grease in a grease gun. It's not very difficult. Milwaukee made this pretty easy for their grease gun. I don't even know where that grease come from, where I even got that tube of grease from. Alright, so now what I like to do with my new tubes of grease is on the end where the cap comes off, I like to take my finger and rub that grease around the inside. That just helps that plunger in your grease gun get started easier, in my opinion. That plunger that's down in there, it helps it get started better. Take my grease and I twist it down in there, and then I take and wipe that off. So let me go over and put this on the car right quick. I'm gonna put it, I tell you what, I'll just put it with this old grease tube, and we'll leave it right there for now. That way I ain't gotta spend so much of y'all's time. And then what I do is I get it started until it tightens, and then I back it off a little bit. That'll help let the air out. All right, and then I just run it. All right, looks like she's gonna have the grease pumped out. So now I tighten it up and she should be good to go. If it starts acting like it's running out of grease, I'll do it again. I'll loosen the tube of grease up and do the same thing. And that works on practically any grease gun out there. All right, that looks like she's pretty good. We'll get this one right here. See how it's doing that again? Now Milwaukee also makes an air thing right here. That makes it kind of easy to get it started back too. You can do it that way. All right, she's pushing grease out now. Okay, so let's talk about the pins we've got. We've got this main pin, we've got that main pin, we've got the lower lift arm pin through the remote zerk. We've got this pin right here through the remote zerk. We've got this pin right here from that fitting up there. Now right back here, y'all can't see it, but I can. There's two 45-degree zerks that will get this this upper scissor arm right here. There's a zerk here on the bottom and one up there on the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them right quick. I'm gonna put 20 in each side. Tell you what, I might go just a little more. I like to be able to see the grease coming out. And it's coming out the back. So I'll get that off. It ain't gonna hurt nothing, just sling it down there on the ground. So we've got a good liberal amount of grease on the upper pin here and here. We've got grease there and there. We've got grease here and here. So the main boom on this side is done, okay? Now let's move up here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side while I got the boom arms up. I won't bring y'all along for that, but I'll go ahead and get that right quick, and then I'll move us up to the front. We'll start on that. All right, now I don't know how well you all will be able to see me, but I'm not really all that important as much as the machine is. Okay, so we got a lower pin right here. It needs greasing, so we'll go ahead and hit it. $20 pumps or so ought to be good. Now we've got a boom cylinder right in here that's our tilt cylinder, okay? And with that tilt cylinder, you got a pin out here and you got a pin back here. All right, both of those pins has got to be greased, and you all can probably see them better from where the camera is over here on this side. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ease over here, okay, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Let me get my little screwdriver out and dig out the dirt from around it again. And greasing any machine, y'all, it's just about finding the pivot points. That's really all it is. And most any manufacturer is going to have a list of grease points for you to grease. I'm putting 20 pumps in. That's about right. Now here's one back here on the back side. Like I said, I don't know how well y'all be able to see, but I think you'll be able to see it better from that side than this side. Okay. Now that looks pretty good. Now while I'm up here, I'm gonna do the same thing. And again, the boom is locked out. So that way, if something were to happen, it were to fall, it wouldn't hurt me. All right, let me get that grease cleaned off of these fittings. And again, these are just pivot points. This is where the boom pivots. You know, these are tilt cylinders that make the bucket, you know, whatever you got hooked to it, it makes it tilt. On any machine, if you'll find the pivot points, you'll find the grease point. And that's true with most things. Bulldozers, excavators, you know, trucks, whatever. 20 pumps is a good liberal amount. Let's see, I need to clean that off. And I like to take my finger and kind of wipe them zerk fittings off, because if not, you're going to be pushing dirt into it, and that ain't no good. Okay, so we got a boom cylinder tilt, we got that one, and that one. So we got the boom cylinder tilts. Alright, and we got this outside lower pin on this side So I need to get it on this side over here, and that'll finish out my boom pins. Alright, I put a liberal amount in there, a very liberal amount. And put some more in there. Oh yeah, I can see it coming out good now. You know, when you can see it coming out from around those pins, you know you got a plenty in there. I always like seeing that. Now there are some situations to where manufacturers will tell you not to exceed a certain number of pumps or something like that. There are situations when it's like that. That is rare. Most manufacturers want you to use just a good liberal amount of grease. These zerk fittings up in here is the zerk fittings for where your locking handles locks the implements on the quick coupler on the front. These pins go up and down and locks the equipment on. You definitely want to grease them babies, because if you don't, it'll get to where you can't move your locking levers. And this machine came as a forestry machine. It had a forestry package on it for mulching and whatnot. And on the forestry machines, Cat did not make them. They didn't come with a like an electric or a hydraulic quick coupler. And the reason why is because the machine is too hard on it. It's too hard on the pieces. The electric parts, you know, that makes the coupler work. They just figured out that it was a waste of money and a waste of time doing it, because it was just too hard on it. Alright, so now, and I like to put a very, very liberal amount of grease in this baby. See, it's dripping out right there. I like that. I like to see it dripping, because this thing right here can be a pain in the butt if you don't keep it greased. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my handles up and down a couple times. I'll show you all these handles in just a minute, so you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. Alright, now that I've got them worked up and down a few times, I'm going to go back and put some more grease in them. Alright. Didn't quite get that one. Let me get around here where I can get to it. There we go. Now. Okay, so for the most part, the machine is done. The boom, anyway. All the moving parts on the boom is done. But we got to grease the torsion suspension on the tracks. This sometimes can prove to be a pain in the butt, but I'm going to show you that too. Alright, now not all skid steers have torsion suspension. Most of your Caterpillars do. Some other machines offer torsion suspension. And when they do, that's something you want to keep greased. And on a Caterpillar, it's got like two axles. It's got like one here and one up there, that the whole track system, you know, idlers and all, it rides on those axles here and there. And if you don't keep these things greased pretty regular, you can't get grease on them. And it's not going to surprise me at all to have one that won't take grease today. This is a common problem on these things. And when you get that problem, the best thing to do is jack it up, take these off, and slip the track off, or slip the whole track assembly off just a little bit, clean it up, and then pump some grease to it, and it'll usually work. Now again, I'm not going to show you but just one side, because this side's the same as the other side. Ain't no point in wasting video time just for that. I'm going to do the other side, but for video purposes, we'll just do this side for now, and then I'm going to show you all that grapple. And again, this is why you need a rag. I use my overalls, and this is why my wife, she despises washing my clothes sometimes. Now, I'm going to put this thing in low, because it's going to need all the pumping power I can get. All right, I got 20 pumps in that one. Got 20 pumps in that one. There's 2 fittings per axle. Now you see it takes a lot more time doing it with it, you know, it on the low side than it did pumping it fast. But now in a nutshell, y'all, that's really all there is to it on greasing this machine. Now I know I just showed you one side. I went ahead and hit everything else while I was, you know, moving the camera around and whatnot. But it's not that hard of a job to do, and especially with this battery operated grease gun. This thing right here, I'm telling you, if it breaks today, I will be going straight to Home Depot and get me another one, if that makes any sense. I mean, this is one of the best inventions since air conditioning. I'm telling you, it makes things so much easier. And I've always been of the mindset, and so was my grandpa, that if you make it easy on the people that work for you, which I don't have anybody that works for me, it's just me. But if you make it easier on them people to keep stuff greased and take care of your stuff, if you make it easier on them, they'll do it. This is my machine. Of course, naturally, I'm the one that has to do all the maintenance and take care of it when it breaks and all that mess. And I've got to foot the bill. So naturally, I want to take better care of it. So anyway, I'm going to grease the other side right quick, and then we're going to go look at that grapple, and we'll conclude the video for today. Alright, now as far as this grapple is concerned, this pin right here, and I've got some grease on it where I greased it. This pin right here broke, and I broke this same pin. Well, not this same pin, on the other side, the same pin that's on the left side. I broke one on that side, and I broke one on this side with this grapple so far. There's nothing to replacing it though. It's just got a snap ring right here on the end. There's a zerk fitting in there that you have to take out, or either put a new zerk fitting in a new pin when you get it. Take the zerk fitting out, take the snap ring off, take the washer off, and the pin will slide out one way or the other. It don't really matter. You can take it in or out. It's got this shield on it. The pin just slips right through it. There's a hydraulic cylinder right here that the pin goes through, and that cylinder is what actuates that these jaws open and closed. I'm gonna need some hoses put on it before long, looks like. This grapple takes a pretty good beating. But on greasing it, you got a pin here. There's some pins right here. Another pin on this side, one out there on the end where the hydraulic cylinder is on that end, and then this big pin right here. And you repeat left and right side, and you got it greased. Now, y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this a little bit on greasing the 299. You know, this is just preventive maintenance, because if you don't, you're going to wear your pins and bushings out, and when you do, that's part of the work I do every day as a machinist, you know, is replacing bushings and making new pins and stuff like that. That's part of what I do. With that being said, though, it gets mighty expensive. You know, it's cheaper to grease stuff and keep it maintained than it is to have to start replacing pins and bushings before they're due. Another thing is going out here and beating and banging on your machine, you know, throwing the forks back a whole lot and just banging on it and making all it, you'll get that lash in it, you know, where it gets loose, and it'll kind of shake back and forth as you move the machine. Well, the more you do that, y'all, the worse it gets. A good operator, I've heard it said like this before, when a good operator is running a machine, you won't hear nothing but the motor running. In other words, you're not going to hear all that lash of banging and beating and banging and pounding and all that mess. You ain't going to hear all that. All you're going to hear is the motor. A good, smooth operator that knows how to take care of his equipment. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little bit on greasing the machine, you know, seeing what that's about. It's not a big deal. It's just something that has to be done. And, you know, as we're waiting on the rain and, you know, the weather to get better, so we can get back here in the woods, like I said, I've got to get started on this side of the creek, cutting timber. So we basically got to get in there and start over again as far as opening up a spot and making a hole for trees to go in. That's always a challenging ordeal to get things back rolling again. I've got to go over here today and take some fence down and get us a road down through there. And then I'm going to resume. Today is Tuesday. So I'm going to get this done today, try to get the fence took down over there. Mr. Preston's already told me just take the fence down, come out right there in the field. It'll be easier for me. he told me just do whatever I need to do to make it easy on myself. He's going to replace that fence anyway. So we're going to go over there and take some of the fence down, push a road down in there where we can get to the timber and, you know, come in and out and whatnot with the mules. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm probably going to haul logs before church. Hopefully, if I can get everything lined up good, get Big Red up here and haul the remaining logs that we got up here on the deck. We don't want them to get too dry and start splitting. And then Thursday, we'll be back cutting timber. So anyway, y'all bear with me. I appreciate you being here. I love each and every one of you. Really, I do. I appreciate you. Thank you. I thank you all for the lovely comments that you always leave and the encouraging words. I really appreciate that. And as always, I'm going to put my email up here on the screen. If you need me, holler at me. Be glad to talk to you. If I don't talk to you in the comments, I'll talk to you over email. If not there, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, wherever. I'm over all them platforms. Wherever you feel comfortable talking, hit me up. Be glad to hear from you. And as always, I'm going to be praying for you, each and every one of you. If you're hearing my voice, you're important enough to me for me to pray for you. I can promise you that. So anyway, y'all take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.